This week on Outdoor Oklahoma, trout fishing in the Sooner State is a tradition that stretches from one corner of Oklahoma to the other. Today we'll explore the many trout fishing opportunities sportsmen have to take advantage of. Right now on Outdoor Oklahoma. From the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation, Outdoor Oklahoma.
Well, hello and welcome to Outdoor Oklahoma. I'm Todd Craighead. You know, Oklahoma is blessed with a lot of different fishing opportunities, and that certainly holds true when it comes to trout fishing. I mean, we literally have opportunities that span from border to border. And some of our trout areas are open year-round, and several others, like Perry Lake here, are open just in the wintertime. We're actually going to be highlighting the many different types of fishing opportunities for trout in Oklahoma. And to start us out with, we join a father and daughter making memories on Dolese Park Pond in Oklahoma City.
Got one, Bella. Look at there. You want to come help me? Hold on, little buddy. We use power bait to catch our fish. That was a yellow power bait. Put them on the stringer here. The limit of fish is 6. We eat all the fish that we catch. Our favorite recipe for trout is a little bit of oil, cornmeal, and that's about it. We have a 1/8 ounce weight on the bottom, and about a foot up we have a leader, and another 6 inches we have another leader. That one got the bottom one. This is what most people use out here, so the power bait will float. Just helps to attract them because they also eat worms, and it floats also with the power bait, and it seems to work. This place gets really busy on the weekends. Especially early in the morning, it's hard to find a place to fish. When the wind's out of the north, that whole north side will be full, standing room only. Almost everybody out here is using power bait or a spin jig where they throw it out there and reel it back in. I haven't seen too many catch on they call it a super duper. That's what most people use when they throw it out there. Jigging seems to work really good at the beginning of the season. Basically, you just got to find what color of power bait or color of bait that they want, and this year it seems to be orange.
just really sat there with a big giant bobber. We just put it on like 5 minutes ago.
Stand up and let's see. Stand up. Okay, watch your bobber. Okay, reel it in. Keep going. Okay, let me pick it up. I want to put it back in because you're catching it today. Okay, one more time and then we'll put it up. You want to see it? Well, let me get it off of there because that other one's floppy. He's been in there a while. You want to show it to her? They don't move too much once you hold them like that. You see it?
I see it.
Well, looks like it's been beat up a little bit, doesn't it? All right, they're slimy. See, look at that. Ugh.
Thank you.
All right. Enjoy your walk.
I will.
All right. Okay, we'll leave it alone. Well, let's get it back out there so we can... Hold on. I think we have caught 2 fish and missed about 5, huh? Did you get one? How big was yours? Is that big? Around 7 to 9 inches is a good tasting fish. Anything after that, you gotta grill them. Sometimes they get too big for the skillet, and that's the way we like to eat them, right? What's your favorite part to eat? Yep. Around 7 to 9 is usually what they stock it with, but we've been pulling some big ones out of here though. The only suggestions I would have is try to make it as fun as possible. You know, show them how fun it could be by, you know, picking out your own pole and letting them bait it themselves, and show them how fun it could be hanging and being with your family. That's what started us into fishing. Start putting our stuff up. Put your stuff up and we'll start reeling your poles in. Okay, leave it there. Stop. Okay, come get your bags so we can go. You sure you don't want to carry them? Okay. I'm not hungry. Come on. Keep walking. Keep walking. Let's go see home. See if Mom's home.
You know, what a precious age to take a child fishing. And I can remember when Emily was that age, and we had a great time together, and those will be memories that I'll cherish forever. When we come back, we're going to be heading out to the tip of the Panhandle to do some trout fishing, right after this week's Outdoor News Report. Raise your hand if you know where Carl Etling Lake is in Oklahoma. Here's a hint. It's in the Panhandle in Cimarron County, and it's the farthest west you can be in Oklahoma and still fish on a department lake. I think that I'm going to get skunked if I don't find another place to get some trout here at Perry Lake.
Okay, Oklahoma has many great trout fishing opportunities all across the state. Some of our year-round fisheries, like down at Broken Bow on the Lower Mountain Fork, but then we also have wintertime fisheries in southeast Oklahoma, southwest Oklahoma, and even some of the urban areas. We're out here at Lake Carl Etling today, and this is another one of our trout fishing areas. And it's a pretty unique trout fishery because it sits right here at the foot of Black Mesa. It's a beautiful area, and it's a great place for our anglers to come out and enjoy a beautiful setting and catch some trout.
Oklahoma Game Warden Rusty Menifee here. Hey, we're out here at Lake Carl Etling today. A lot of things going on at Lake Etling. One of the exciting things is the trout fisheries here. We stock trout here to put take deal. It starts November 1st. The bag limit on trout is 6 trout per day. We've abolished the trout stamp, so all you need is a fishing license or exemption from that. Lake Etling is the furthest west lake in Oklahoma. It's actually owned by the Wildlife Department. It's about 168 surface acres, so it's not a big reservoir, but it's a nice, pretty little reservoir. It's in the state park here, Black Mesa State Park. So there's camping. There's lots of neat things in the area. We've got Black Mesa, which is the highest point in the state, 4,972 feet. You can see quite a bit of wildlife. It's very diverse here. We've got 172 bird species that could be seen in the county. We've also got lots of big game. We've got whitetail, mule deer, antelope, as well as elk here. That season just started on those this year. So we've got a lot of very diverse wildlife out here in the far end of the Panhandle.
You know, another great aspect of trout fishing is that there are so many different ways to do it. I mean, Hollywood has made us think that the only way to trout fish is with a fly rod in the middle of a big, beautiful river. And whereas you certainly can do that in Oklahoma, Edsel Ford now is going to remind us that there are plenty of ways to catch trout in Oklahoma.
What I'm throwing today is called a rooster tail. It's a spinner type bait. They have they come in several different types: bang tails, super dupers, panther martins. This one happens to be a root beer colored rooster tail that I'm throwing right now. And probably about every 15 minutes or so, if I'm not getting a hit on that color, I'll change up colors, or I'll change up weights of the lure itself, because the weight puts it down in the column of water where, you know, you're hunting for the fish in the lair, or in a lair, and trout tend to hang on the bottom some. This morning I saw them hitting on the top, so I put on a lighter rooster tail, hoping to run a little closer to the surface and maybe get a topwater, more of an upper type hit. This morning I saw the fish hitting a lot on the surface, so I probably wanted to start out on the surface. As that goes away during the day, as the sunlight comes out, the fish will go deeper, so I may want to go down. And you know, so when you first start thinking about where you're going to start, pay attention to what the fish are doing. And a lot of times the fish will tell you what they're doing. If there's not a lot of hits on the surface, they're deep, start deep. If there's hits on the surface, there may be a bug hatch going on, I start high. No action, I start working my way down. The colors I bring with me, it's kind of a rainbow of colors. One of the other things you think about is water clarity too, where this morning our water's pretty murky. And so if you're murky, you probably want to go, and it seems counterintuitive, a little darker color, because they're looking more for a silhouette than they are anything. You know, I've thrown the root beer for about 15 minutes now, water stained, still hitting some on the top, but I switched to chartreuse rooster tail. In fact, it's almost trout colored with a little red on it. And so we'll see if the color change up may interest some of them. Some of what we were throwing today, again, lightweight spinning rod, and I like a closed face spinning rod. Use light tackle because you get a 12-inch trout on, it feels like a steelhead. Different colors we threw today, from root beer to gold to even a crawdad crankbait. This is a crankbait, fairly well for smallmouth bass, works great for crappie. This is actually a crawdad. This is a rooster tail. It's got a blade on it, a treble hook and some marabou and a weighted body. These are super dupers. They're folded, and so as they swim through the water, they turn. Again, various colors, and if you'll notice, various sizes for how they sink, all the way through chartreuse, red, black. I used everything from the chartreuse, which I caught a fish on that you saw earlier today, and to the root beer that I caught a fish on that you saw a little later on. And again, change up colors, change up locations. If something's not working, move around, see what it takes to make it work for you. Again, you're fishing in a trout area, pay attention to the trout regulations. One of the new regulations is if you're keeping trout, they have to go on a stringer with your name and license number on it. That's new for 2014 this year. And the rangers are starting to enforce that. What we didn't fish with today is another method, and that's when we go over to power baits and even to worms, where you'd use like an egg hook and a worm, or this actually happens to be power bait dough, and if you'll notice, it's the floating type, and about a size 14 treble hook, and I would make a dough ball on it. Again, I would use some sort of sliding type sinker tied above my swivel, and I would tie this hook on with about 10 inches of what we call tippet material, go to the fly shop, or you want to use about 4 to 6 pound test monofilament. And the advantage to mono is it floats. So this would lay on the bottom, and then this would let your dough balls come just about 10 inches above. If you don't like messing with the dough and it gets kind of putty, you can use what are called power eggs. And these eggs are round, they're fairly solid, they float. And so instead of using a treble hook, you'd want to use something similar to this, an egg hook. I also use the egg hook on the worms. When we talk about power bait like the crappie nibbles here, or I mean the trout nibbles here, these are made to suspend under a bobber and have a split shot hold them down. So these actually suspend from the surface down toward the bottom, so you can fish the normal way that you have before with a bobber, as we say in the fly fishing world, a strike indicator. When you throw something like this, though, you're going to want to look at a weighted float to do it, because the weight drags the line out so you can cast further. So with this type bait, this is surface down. These baits here, bottom up, and then the worms, if you have the little air pump, this will keep the worm coming up off the bottom and hold him up. Otherwise, if he gets down in the gravel, he'll start working his way into the gravel, and trout, as you know, aren't really bottom feeders. And so these are some alternate methods of trout fishing to fly fishing, or fly fishing is an alternate method to this type of fishing. There are certain areas of the trout areas that this would not be legal. So check if you can use natural or these type baits. If it says artificial lure, now you're looking at flies, spinners, something that's hard, or crankbaits, something like that. So be sure you check the trout regulations in your local area, because every trout stream just about has different requirements. Here where we're at the Watts area, just south of us, is a cable that goes across. It's a US stream gauge. Anything below that cable, above Gravel Pit Road, has to be a barbless hook. And you're limited on the number of fish you can keep and the size. In the Watts area up here where we are, you can keep 6 rainbow trout, no minimum length, and that's the maximum. and one brown trout over 20 inches. So you have to know your species, you have to know your regulations, and stay inside the regulations so everybody can have a good time and enjoy it.
Well, we'd encourage you to take advantage of the many trout fishing opportunities that we have here in Oklahoma. For all of us at your wildlife department, I'm Todd Craighead. Hey, if you haven't joined in on our conservation conversation yet, join us on social media. We'll see you right here next time on Outdoor Oklahoma.